Hi there.
Hi, welcome to Curious Collection. I'm Will.
I'm Cinnamon.
And we're a married reselling team. We do this full time. And today we're going to talk about why you should never, ever sell on any online platform, including eBay, because it could make your life miserable. Let's talk about the different challenges that you will definitely run into. So first of all, platform risk. You can get banned for not following rules.
Rules that you don't even necessarily know are there.
Rules that they're not going to tell you about. So there's Veros, there's counterfeits, there's suspicion of counterfeit, there's, all sorts of different things, endangered species, child endangerment. There's
government stuff like, patches could be uniforms for government officials. There's just so many rules and so much that you just, there's no way that you could know it all.
Right. Things surrounding, military conflicts, which side, the memorabilia could have been on could be banned.
What ships to different countries and what's banned on those lists.
Right. So another thing is platform shutdowns. Now, it doesn't sound like something that you would run into regularly, but, as of tomorrow, from the posting of this video, Poshmark's going to shut down in the UK, India, and Australia. So if you were one of these people that's selling on this platform, you're going to have to figure out where your customers are. You need to redo all of your listings on another platform.
Huge risk. Even imagine. Like, my heart goes out to everybody who is affected by that, because seriously, that's just, it's not fair. It's not.
Right. Absolutely terrifying situation there. And, I wish no one would have to deal with something like that. Another thing is that platforms control the traffic. As an independent seller on a platform, you do not control the traffic. They own the traffic. They determine whether or not you get views or whether or not they're going to push anything towards you.
We're not trying to be like conspiratorial or anything like that, talking about, server shutdowns. Like, they legit told the community that they will be working on servers and they will be shutting down some servers. And also they have this new tab where they can tell you what your traffic is. And like, there's been a couple of instances
specifically on eBay. They do have, if you have an eBay store, you can see what your store traffic is, what your item views are. Other platforms aren't necessarily as transparent, but the reality is that at the end of the day, they are in control of all of the traffic. So they're going to choose what items are seen and which ones aren't.
That's real too.
Another challenge is that on these platforms, there's typically a lot of sellers. And that means that there's a lot of competition, and it can mean a race to the bottom if you have a more common item.
Absolutely. There's been plenty of times when I'm listing jewelry and I'm like, somebody's got it on sale for like $3, or they sell it at auction and it's 99 cents. And obviously there's no way I can compete with that. Not if I have anything at all of quality.
Right. Another thing is that, there could be the potential for a site to actually poach your customer. So you did end up getting some traffic, you did end up getting some sales, and then all of a sudden they decide they want to come out with their own brand and manufacture a very similar product and steal your customer away because they're going to be able to undercut you on price because of volume. Or they'll be able to direct the traffic away from you into their product because they control the site traffic.
Right. So like on eBay specifically, on the checkout, they're showing other people's stores before your customer even gets a chance to click the buy now. So they're already showing, hey, if you like this, like, take a look at this other this other seller who has things, that you might like instead. Right.
So they actively are diverting traffic from your product, which you managed to get them on your page, to another seller, to another product of similar nature, possibly for cheaper. Another thing is shipping. Shipping, it can be a real hassle. It's complicated. Yeah. Depending on who you're using, it is very costly. Since 2019, USPS rates have increased by 32%, which is absolutely, just insane to even comprehend a 32% increase over 3 years. But that's where we are.
And that's not even counting the cost of all of your shipping supplies. You know, like we have very specific business, like we have items that we ship. All of our photos go in rigid mailers, and then they have backer boards and the acid-free, you know, the acid-free backer boards plus the sleeves. Our jewelry, you know, we have all of our jewelry boxes are all matching, so it doesn't matter what size jewelry you get from us, you're going to get the same high quality items, you know, packed in the same high quality unboxing. But all of that takes money, and it also takes space.
It does. It does. Another thing with regard to shipping is, you know, damages, lost packages, delayed packages.
All the time we get people that are coming to us and they're like, oh, well, you know, I ordered this 2 days ago. Why isn't it here yet? You know, and eBay is telling these customers that they're going to get it in 2 to 4 days. But that doesn't mean that Ground Advantage is going to give it to them in 2 to 4 days. That just, I mean, you know, and that's what customers are expecting.
Right, right. And it's not just eBay as a platform. It's across all platforms. They're making commitments on shipping, handling that they are not in control of. As sellers, we're not in control of. We're handing that over to one of 3 major companies here in the U.S. If there was one less, it would be considered a monopoly. Let's be real. You've got 2 publicly traded companies. You've got 1 government organization. We really don't have a lot of options. So the last thing with regard to that, the lost and damaged packages is insurance. Yeah, there's insurance out there, but the requirements and the rules surrounding insurance can also be complicated, and it can require a burden of proof that you may not have as a seller once that product's been turned over to a customer. So next thing we've got is time. You know, the amount of time dedicated to selling full time, you may just be better off to get a job, because the amount of time
it's not a 40-hour work week anymore.
Right. You're going to spend most of your time listing. So if you enjoy sitting in an office or sitting with your laptop and, you know, under a shade tree, I don't know where you like to list, but, you know, you're going to spend most of your day listing items.
And it can be very frustrating trying to get the verbiage right, your keywords, you know, all of those item specifics.
The customer is expecting 24/7 customer support. So again, this is an expectation. I'm not saying it's a reality in your world, but you know, the reality is if you don't want to answer customer questions, this probably is not the right industry. Customers can be very demanding. They can have complaints. They might have questions about shipping. They may have problems with the item.
Pictures. They want to know the background of all of these items that you have. You know, they're having expectations, and we have to meet all of those expectations.
Right. The other thing is that it takes up a lot of headspace. So if you don't like thinking about your business, if you don't like thinking about work when you're not supposed to be working, this might not be the right job.
I literally have to tell him, at least on a weekly basis, like, you have to stop talking about work. Like, I really have to have like a 5-minute break. Please, at some point in this day, you have to just stop talking. I love you, but please stop talking.
So that can, again, you know, lead into that work-life balance. So if you have a traditional 9-to-5 job, you may be able to clock out at the end of the day, and you may be able to take your weekends off and not think about work. This is definitely not one of those professions.
No.
Next thing is the amount of money that it costs to operate an online business. Online businesses were sold to us that it was going to be cost effective. It was going to be cheap. There would be no warehouse, you know, there's no retail stores. So warehousing the stuff would be cheap, and, you know, cost of goods and everything online was going to be cheaper. This is the promise they made to us back in the 90s. If anybody's old enough to remember that, that's not real. Shipping is expensive now. Storage is expensive now.
Right. I mean, you know, we've talked about the fact that we're running this business out of our home. So, but we have 2 rooms in our home that are completely devoted to office and warehousing inventory. And occasionally, it spills into the rest of our living space as well when we have to unload the truck, and it all goes into my living room, which is not okay. And also the truck is full,
Right.
you know, so that is completely stuffed full of inventory that we're taking to the auction house to consign. So it does take up a lot of physical space as well.
So another thing is the cost of goods. As the online marketplaces have grown and expanded, there's more people out there, again, more competition on the buying end.
Mm-hmm.
So the cost of the goods that we're getting and trying to sell has gone up quite substantially over the course of just the last 3 to 4 years.
Absolutely. Yeah.
The other thing is platform fees. You've got on eBay 15% fee for your total value fee. So once your product sells, you're going to pay 15% on your shipping and on your cost of your product and on the sales tax.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to also have a 30-cent transaction fee there. So
don't forget your promotional fees.
Right, and promoted.
Yeah.
You can promote between 2% and 100% of the value of your product. So you could theoretically run yourself into a non-profitable situation very quickly if you're not watching those margins.
Yeah. Taxes are big. I know that they're a big point of contention for a lot of people as well, is that, you know, they don't want to have to pay taxes, but we are running a business. So the amount that goes to taxes, like, it'll break your heart.
Right. So the platforms are required by IRS. And again, we are not accountants. You need to consult with an accountant if you have questions about bookkeeping or accounting.
That's more fees that go into it as well as your accounting fees. You know?
So again, as of right now, platforms will be issuing the 1099 forms for resellers for any item $600 or more for a year. That is going to add a lot of expenses to those smaller sellers. We've also got the self-employment taxes. When you're working for a regular job,
they pay their share, and then, you know, your share comes out of your paycheck. But when we are self-employed, we have to do both the business end and the employee end.
Right. So just as an example, typical American middle-class worker, their tax rate's 24% approximately. When you're an online reseller, you're going to pay that 24%. You're also going to pay 6% towards Social Security as an average worker. Your employer would pay 6%. We, because we're self-employed, we pay 12%. We pay the 6% for the employer and the 6% for ourselves. Medicare, Medicaid is also part of that. Your employer would typically pay 2%, I believe, approximately. And we pay 4%.
Yeah. And then you have to keep track of your mileage. You have to keep track of all of your deductibles. You have to keep track of, like, all of these things.
It's a lot more work that people don't think about when they're considering starting their own business, specifically an online selling business. And then you've also got the cost of all the equipment that goes into this very specialized industry.
Yeah.
So you of course, you're going to have a computer that you can list with, and you're going to have some type of printer that you can print your labels out. But you're also going to have some very specialized niche items like a shipping scale or, a specific type of scanner or
Well, and
cameras.
I mean, just everything. I mean, you've got to have the file cabinets that we have, and then, you know, the racking systems that you put your inventory on, all of the totes that you put your inventory in, like all of the ring light and the cameras, and, you know, it just keeps going.
It does. It never stops. The equipment costs, those fixed costs that have to be reinvested, are seemingly endless. And as soon as you think that, you know, you're finally there, you're going to have a piece of equipment break, I promise. Or you're going to decide that your business is scaled at the point where you need another one.
Yeah.
You know, we went from 1 computer to 2. We went from 1 printer to 2. So now we have 3. You know, these are the types of things that just keep adding up. You know, number 5 on our list is not really a numbered list, but it's not a real job.
No, No, I mean, you get that all the time. Like, people are very big in you are what you are. So when people meet you for the first time, they're like, oh, hey, nice to meet you. You know, what do you do? Well, you know, when you say that you're an online reseller, or, you know, that you sell vintage and collectibles, or however it is that you describe yourself, people are just kind of like, oh, okay, well.
Right. People, when you talk to people, they're, at least in our world, they're typically looking for an answer like, I'm some type of business professional, I'm some type of healthcare professional. And when you tell them, oh, I'm an online reseller, I specialize in this specific category or this specific concept. Oh, okay. You know, I've had multiple people, even family members. Oh, when are you going to get a real job? Mm-hmm. Is this a real business? What makes it real?
Right.
I do this for a living. I support my family. What makes it real?
Right. Right.
But it's something that you have to deal with. And if you're one of the types of people that needs a title, that needs somebody to look up to you, this is probably not the right industry.
No, my sister, I love her dearly, but there's all kinds of times when she'll be like, oh, you're not doing anything today, right? It's okay if you can just come on over, and I've got a favor that I need you to do. You're not busy, right? No, not at all. Just, you know, running a business. Yeah, you know, no, not busy. Let's drop everything. So, you know, that's definitely something. Nobody has respect for your title or your time, you know? So if that's something that's important to you, this is not it.
Inconsistencies in pay. This can be a real challenge for all of us. You kind of live and die based on what your sales were the last week, and it can hurt your heart. It can hurt your soul when you go and you see, oh, you know, I had this great day and I'm making all this profit, and then the following day is crickets. You got no sales. It doesn't matter what platform you're on. We've experienced it on multiple platforms. We have a good run for a few days, few weeks, and then
you're just constantly waiting for that other foot to drop, because you know it's coming. That there's going to be a day that you're going to have just totally crappy sales, and you're not going to have visits to your store, and you're going to be like completely questioning yourself, because you're like, is everything I do just crap? Like, I can't even sell. I'm not. Yeah, no, those are bad days.
And that's very real.
It is.
Another thing is that, you know, there's no employer provided benefits here. There's no days off.
No.
There's no vacation pay.
Nope.
There's no insurance.
No. In fact, when I left nursing, they told me, you can't leave because you're not going to have insurance. You can't leave the corporate world. That's not even an option.
There's no retirement fund.
No 401k for this.
Yeah, there's no old folks home for resellers. So those are big things that that have to be overcome. And if you're looking at this and you're thinking that this is just going to be a simple thing, and it's not. There's a lot to it. Right. So
a lot.
This, again, these are all real. This is not even a comprehensive list. There is a ton of reasons that people do not or should not want to become resellers. It's not on our list, but this is not a get rich quick scheme.
No.
There is no getting rich in reselling. If you're selling on eBay, I promise you're not going to get rich if you're following the law.
Yeah.
So, that's another thing that needs to be addressed. A lot of people want to sell you a program that will explain to you that you're going to get rich and you only got to do the program for 90 days. And,
you'll be a millionaire. Don't you worry about a thing.
Right.
Yeah.
There's
no millionaires, people.
There's no fancy cars. There's no big house.
No.
That's just people trying to get by, trying to make a living. We've run into resellers out in the wild, and everyone's in the same boat. We're all asking the same questions. We're all dealing with the same challenges. So today is our negative day. Tomorrow, we're actually going to post a video that's going to talk about all of the things that you can do that will allow you to overcome these challenges
Yes.
and make us all more successful.
So please, please, please come back tomorrow, because I do not want to leave you on this note. It's important that you can express the challenges that greet you in this, but that's not the end. Okay,
Right.
So please, please, please come back tomorrow so that we can talk to you about how to overcome all of the things that all of those negative Nancys are going to tell you. You can't succeed in this business.
So we also just hit our 500th subscriber.
Yay!
Thank you so much to everyone who's tuned into our channel, joined us every morning, Monday through Saturday, and just hear us kind of rant and talk about what our business is like and
we appreciate
what our
you
world is
all
like.
so much. We really, 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 truly feel like we are all better together. We tell each other that all the time, that we are better together in anything that we do. And if we can all band together and help each other and share those tips and tricks and talk to each other, we can be better together.
Right. And just as an anecdote, we were out and we were shopping at a store the other day, and we happened to mention the fact that we were resellers. The person behind the counter said that she also sells on eBay and that she had this product and she was really hoping to sell it. And
she was very discouraged because she's had it up forever and she knew it was a good item, but she just couldn't get it sold.
So you happened to give her some tips and tricks.
I did, yeah. So it was this particular item. It was a dress, and it was like totally Little House on the Prairie kind of thing. And my daughter is totally into cottagecore. She is that generation, and she's a Swiftie. She's all about the mushrooms and all of that. So I was talking to her about this particular dress, and I'm like, that is so cottagecore. I'm like, you really got to put that in the title. And then we were talking about some price points and things like that. And she messaged us today, and she said that after talking to us, she made the changes and suggestions that we had all talked about, and she sold her item. So I was super excited that we were able to help her to, again, we're better together. So, we were able to share some tips and tricks that we have found, different knowledge. She had no idea what cottagecore was. The only reason I knew is because our daughter's into it. So, again, when we can share those things, when we can share that knowledge together, then we're all better.
Right. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
And please like and subscribe.
Yep. Comment your tips and tricks below, or comment the things that you think are really frustrating and that people have told you can't succeed because of X, Y, and Z. Thanks so much.